out. Agari then went straight to the point. He was one of the hero candidates tasked with defeating the Demon King. Elbana Kare responded, saying they were the third generation of candidates. Elbana Kare had heard rumors, but never thought the summoning had actually happened. Agari was shocked to learn he was part of the third generation. He then remembered Leonora hinting that other heroes had been summoned before him. Elbana Kare confirmed they had summoned heroes about 4 years ago, which was their second time. The first summoning happened around 10 years prior. She explained that both previous groups of heroes tried to fight the Demon King, but all of them were wiped out. After that, the summoning ritual was sealed away, never meant to be used again. But Saintess Leonora planned to break that rule and summon a third generation. Elbana Kare was against it, believing it was crazy to trust a country's future to someone from another world, even if a god wanted it. Agari then calmly revealed that he had already dealt with Leonora. This meant no one else could perform another summoning ritual. Elbana Kare couldn't believe it. How could he possibly defeat Leonora? Agari just smiled and said there are many ways to beat someone, even if they're much stronger. Elbana Kare laughed, agreeing that it made sense. She found it pretty funny that Leonora was taken down by her own pawn. So Leonora got what she deserved? Elbana Kare mused. She then understood Agari's desire to go home. It was a natural wish. She declared she didn't like to talk much and would get straight to business. Her spells couldn't send them back home. Agari was shocked and disappointed to hear this. He asked if she had any idea how they could return. Elbana Kare explained that summoning people with human magic was possible, but sending them back? Not anymore. That knowledge was lost centuries ago because no one needed to research it. Agari noted that Leonora had said the same thing. He asked, did they basically have no choice but to defeat the Demon King? Elbana Kare replied that was probably true, or maybe, with some demonic arts, it could be done. Hearing about demonic arts, Agari decided that was his next lead. Elbana Kare apologized for not helping more and thanked him for saving her disciple. She promised to tell him if she found anything useful. Agari thanked her. Elbana Kare smiled, suggesting that maybe he actually could defeat the Demon King. Agari said he didn't want such a difficult job, but if there was no other way, he'd have to take down the Demon King. Elbana Kare tensed up, seeing the rage and murderous intent on his face. She thought Agari was different from other heroes she'd met, like he came from a dark, cold place. Finally, Agari thanked Elbana Kare for her time. He asked her to contact Siren at the Adventurers Guild if she found any useful information. Elbana Kare then decided to let Mare go with Agari. Just as Mare finished her bath, she told Agari he should take one too. He was probably pretty dirty after the mountain climb and the fight. Agari agreed with Mare, deciding she was right about the bath. But Elbana Kare cut in, telling Agari she had an idea. Agari asked what it was. Elbana then dropped a question on Agari. Why don't you take my disciple with you? Mare was totally surprised. Disciple? You mean me? She blurted out. Suddenly the scene jumps forward. Agari and Mare are already on the move, deep in the Veldora demonic kingdom's eastern region. This area is actually the frontline battlefield against the Holy Kingdom of Dagarest. So it seems Agari did end up taking Mare on his journey. Agari commented on the good weather, noting he'd heard the demon territory was super harsh. Mare quickly corrected him, explaining they were still in what used to be Holy Kingdom land. She added that the truly bad weather would hit them once they went deeper into Veldora. Agari quickly caught on that the Demon King's army had invaded and taken over this territory. Mare continued, pointing out a big city called Nutrat near the western Urugano mountain range. She said there used to be villages around it. That city, she revealed, had fallen to the Demon King's army and was now the front line, their destination. She figured it would take them about 2 days of walking to get there. Agari hesitantly asked what happened to the people from those villages. Mare's voice turned sad as she explained. Half the population was killed, she said, and the rest were enslaved by demons for forced labor. Only a few lucky ones managed to escape to the other side of the mountains. Hearing this, Agari nodded. He was really impressed by Mare's knowledge and felt even more confident that bringing her along was the right call. But hold on, let's rewind a bit. This takes us back to when Elbana Kare first asked Agari to take Mare. Agari straight up declined at first, which shocked Mare. She yelled at him to at least think about it. Elbana just laughed, telling Agari to watch his words. She reminded him that for someone new to this world, Mare would be incredibly useful. Her family's knowledge, passed down for generations, was extensive. Elbana also confessed she'd been looking for a chance to send Mare on an adventure, but she worried about her adorable disciple going alone. Agari looked confused. He asked Elbana why she was trusting Mare to him when she could just take Mare herself. Elbana explained she couldn't go on journeys anymore. Even if she looked young and healthy, her time and abilities were limited. Then, Agari showed up and saved Mare's life. Mare started to express her thanks, but said she needed time to think. Agari cut her off. He told her he was going to infiltrate demon territory, a super dangerous trip. He warned her clearly, "If you slow me down, I'll leave you behind." Elbana then went to Mare, reminding her it was her own life, her decision. Mare focused on that phrase, her life. She then declared, "I get it. I'm ready to go with Agari." And with that, we're back in the present. Agari tense. "You look tired," he told Mare. "Just so you know, we still have a whole day of walking ahead." Mare responded, "Don't expect too much from a spellcaster's body." She clarified that even though she focused on magic, she had been training her body the whole time. Agari then suggested they stop for the day and rest. Mare was surprised. "Didn't you say you'd leave me if I slowed you down?" she asked. Agari looked at her like she was crazy. "What nonsense are you talking about?" he said. "I wouldn't leave you for something like that." He then told her to hurry up and set up camp. Mar, clearly impressed by his response, understood and said she'd have it ready in just a few minutes. Night fell. Agari and Mare sat by a bonfire. Mare was eating, and Agari just watched her, looking a little uncertain. Agari then reminded Mare that their journey was about to get super dangerous. He swore he wouldn't back down, no matter how tough things got, because he had to get back home. But he wondered if Mare had a good enough reason to stick with him. Agari then asked if Elbanakarat was telling the truth, and if Mare had her own reasons for joining. Mare admitted it was hard to explain. She shared that she had lost everything. Her old home, the Elven village, was wiped out by the Demon King's army. Agari was surprised and asked if the war wasn't just between humans and monsters. Mare brushed it off, saying those lines didn't matter. The demons just crushed everyone. She then revealed that her father, mother, and even her little brother were all killed. Her dad sacrificed himself, drawing the monster's attention away, and that's how she survived. Mare remembered being helpless back then. After the Demon King's army left, they just left her for dead. That's when Elbanakarat found her, took her in, and became her master and mentor. Agari cut her off, saying he didn't care about her past. He just wanted to know her goal. Mare shot back that he should have figured it out. She became Elbanakarat's student and a spellcaster for one reason, to get strong enough to beat monsters. Mare's eyes burned with fury and vengeance. She declared that everything she learned over the past 10 years, all her training, was for one thing: revenge. She swore she would personally take down the guy who killed her family. Agari, taken aback, asked for the demon's name. Mare revealed it was Wimberg, the Heavenly King of the Wind. He was one of the Demon King's top leaders, part of the 4 Heavenly Kings. Agari then asked if Mare joined him just to get closer to Wimberg. He added that, for now, he didn't have his own personal beef with demons. Mare also confessed she didn't get why Elbanakarat gave her permission to go after meeting Agari. She admitted she had no clue what her master was thinking. That's why, for now, she'd just follow Agari's lead. Agari simply said he understood her situation. Agari then remembered Elbanakarat telling him to look after Mare, totally confident he could handle her. It all clicked for Agari. Elbanakarat didn't want his student traveling alone because Mare might just blindly throw her life away seeking revenge. Mare quickly apologized for getting so serious and told Agari not to worry. She didn't want to drag him into her revenge mission. Agari understood Mare was set on getting her revenge alone. He told her to drop it and get some sleep. They had to travel tomorrow. Mare agreed. She said she'd set up some spirits to keep watch and alert them if any monsters showed up. Mare then slept soundly, but Agari couldn't stop thinking about the Demon King's 4 Heavenly Kings. He watched Mare sleeping, then quietly slipped out of the tent. He remembered his last enemy was a high-ranking demon. Now he was up against someone even tougher. Knowing they needed to get way stronger before fighting such big threats, Agari pushed those thoughts aside for now. Worrying about it wouldn't help right now. Meanwhile, at the Holy Kingdom's fort, officials gathered. They felt it was finally time to attack, especially with the hero candidates here. Everyone agreed and started discussing where to strike first. Amelia suggested hitting Fort Arliss first. It was once their stronghold, and now served as the enemy's frontline base. Taking it back would be a huge win. If we break them here, Heinrich added, the enemy will definitely pull back. But Heinrich saw it as a reckless move. They had only been defending until now, so why suddenly attack? The officials challenged Heinrich, asking if he'd hesitate even if the hero candidates were under his command. Emilia admitted Heinrich had a point. Still, she argued, the enemy might be underestimating them, so a surprise offensive could work. Then she turned to Midoshuji, asking if his body had been found. Midoshuji simply said yes. He was ready to fight if commanded, sword in hand. Soon after, Heinrich, Midoshuji, and Hashimoto Mare left the meeting. Heinrich mentioned the plan was set for the next day, surprised by Amelia's aggressive stance. Hashimoto Mare asked Heinrich if he thought the plan would actually work, noting how confident everyone seemed. Midoshuji chimed in, saying if they were going to attack, doing it while the enemy was still regrouping was smart. He believed it wasn't a mistake, but Heinrich disagreed, worried they were putting too much faith in the hero candidate's strength, leading to overconfidence. Heinrich added that even though they were only reinforcing defenses, they couldn't defy orders from above. Hashimoto Mare, tense, asked, "So, we really don't have a choice, do we?" Heinrich replied, "Of course. I'll support them all I can. But the hero candidates are key here, so tell them to get some good sleep." Suddenly, Midoshuji felt a wave of tension. He had a bad feeling about it, but knew they had no other option. The next day, near Fort Arliss, everyone was ready. The hero candidates and Heinrich's team prepared to assault the fort. Nagase Rina wondered why they were attacking in broad daylight. Wouldn't a surprise night attack be better? Heinrich explained that demons see perfectly in the dark. Attacking at night would actually put them at a disadvantage. Midoshuji then clarified their main goal: defeat the monster leader. The main force would keep the other monsters busy. He reminded everyone the leader was probably a high-ranking demon. Midoshuji told the hero candidates he would lead the charge. If he ever got separated, they should either buy time or retreat. Just then, a guard rushed up to Heinrich. The message from the main force was clear. "Time to begin the operation," Heinrich gave the command. "Charge!" Midoshuji and the others didn't wait. They stormed the fort without hesitation, bursting inside. Amelia's voice rang out, "Annihilate those monsters." Unknown to them, Stone Gaia, the demon army king, watched their every move. Moments later, Heinrich and some hero candidates burst into the fort's main tower. The monsters inside were totally stunned. They tried to attack, but Midoshuji wiped them out in seconds. Heinrich warned Midoshuji not to relax. There was a good chance the enemy leader was still in the hall. Suddenly, monsters swarmed them from both sides, cutting off their escape. Some hero candidates nervously asked Midoshuji what their next move should be. Heinrich tells Midoshuji to keep their backs to the 8th Night Order and push towards their goal. Midoshuji agrees with the plan and calls out to Nagaserena. Nagaserena confidently replies that she already knows her role to eliminate the monsters in their way. Nagaserena unleashes her power, and the others jump into action. They quickly take down all the monsters blocking their path. Finally, they open the huge door, but everyone freezes. A humanoid figure stands there, stunning them all. Sam tensely asks, "What the heck is this now?" Arashi Shunshuki then asks the Demon King if this figure is their leader. The figure introduces himself as Stone Gaia, one of the Demon King's 4 heavenly kings. Kenzaki Rin and Hashimoto Mori instantly tense up upon hearing this. Even Midoshuji feels a chill. The pressure from Stone Gaia is totally off the charts. He draws his sword, challenging them to a power showdown. Midoshuji tells everyone to get ready, but he's secretly trying to find his own courage. He knows if they lose here, all the main forces' sacrifices would be for nothing. Everyone prepares to fight, but Stone Gaia just sits down and touches the ground instead. Midoshuji is confused. Then, to their surprise, an orange circle appears around Stone Gaia. All the hero candidates instantly tense up. Dirt surges from the ground, summoning tons of golems right in front of Raka and the others. Everyone is shocked. Stone Gaia then commands the golems to attack and wipe out the hero candidates. Midoshuji shouts for everyone to hold them off. Narumi Yoshia confirms and starts attacking. He uses his nature power, cutting down golems with sharp leaves. Arashi Shunshuki joins in too, punching through golems with fire blasts. Arashi Shunshuki laughs, saying, "No matter how many golems there are, these slow-moving things are nothing." But then, Stone Gaia uses his magic. The broken golems start regenerating their bodies. The hero candidates are shocked, wondering how that's even possible. They keep fighting, breaking down golems only to see them regenerate again. At one point, Raka almost gets hit by a golem. Luckily, Kenzaki Rin uses her domination attack to take control of some of them. But when someone else tries to hit a controlled golem, it surprisingly strikes back. Hashimoto Mare attacks furiously with her telekinesis, smashing the golems. To their frustration, the golems just start regenerating again moments later. Arashi Shunshuki is frustrated, realizing this regeneration seems endless. That's when Narumi Yoshia remembers similar manga situations. Taking out the summoner is usually the best move. Narumi Yoshia tells Midoshuji they'll handle the golems. He advises Midoshuji to focus on confronting the summoner instead. Midoshuji understands. He and Arashi Shunshuki will take on the summoner. They charge furiously towards Stone Gaia, ready to attack. Stone Gaia smiles, telling the hero candidates they're underestimating him. He uses magic again, summoning stones from the ground and hurling them at Midoshuji. Midoshuji tensely tries to dodge by running, but to his shock, the stones follow him no matter where he goes. Midoshuji couldn't dodge the stones and got hit. Everyone screamed his name, worried, but Midoshuji just waved it off, saying he was fine. What Stone Gaia didn't know was that this was all a trick. Midoshuji was just distracting him so Arashi Shunshuki could sneak in for a surprise attack from behind. And it worked. Arashi Shunshuki got right behind Stone Gaia and landed a super strong punch full of his flame power. Everyone watched, holding their breath. Had Arashi Shunshuki just taken down the Demon King? But as the smoke cleared, it showed Arashi Shunshuki had actually hit a wall of dust and clay. Then the wall punched Arashi Shunshuki right in the stomach. He passed out cold. Stone Gaia just laughed, asking if that was all the heroes had. So, what's next for Midoshuji and the others? Can they beat Stone Gaia, or is this the end? While they were battling one of the 4 heavenly kings, our main man Aragi Kai finally reached the fallen city of Neutrat. They had to take a super secret route to avoid being seen. Only a fire spell on a scepter lit their way as they went deep under the city. Mare somehow got talked into going through the city's super stinky sewers, holding her nose the whole time. Kai, though, didn't even care about the gross smell. Mare had to admit she never would have thought of sneaking into a city through the sewers. Kai just told her to be a bit more patient. They'd be there soon. They needed to watch out for Demon's amazing night vision, especially since the city had so many open spots. Plus, Neutrat was a frontline city, meaning security would be super tight. After a few more minutes walking through the smelly tunnels, they finally made it out. Just like that, the duo had snuck into Neutrat without anyone noticing, though they smelled like total dookie. The moment they stepped into the actual city, Kai got a really bad feeling. His instincts told him someone was coming, so they quickly hid in a barrel, totally like a 90s cartoon. Moments later, 2 guard demons walked down the street. One grumbled about being picked to guard the witch. But serving the witch wasn't about what you'd achieved. The whiny guard might not have wanted the job, but he definitely had the skills. That didn't stop him from getting chewed out by the witch, though. As the 2 demons walked off, still complaining about their bosses, Kai and Mare popped out. Kai wondered what the big deal was with this witch. He knew she was supposed to be the demon princess and the new boss of Neutrat City. Mare knew her as the Witch of Space, and she was their target right now. Before all this, the sage had suggested Kai meet with the Witch of Space in Neutrat. She might be the only one who could grant his wish. They were in the city, but getting to the princess? That needed some serious planning to avoid a fight they couldn't win. A pro-assassin would gather intel quietly, and that's exactly what Kai planned to do. Mare promised to stay out of the way and follow his orders to get through this whole situation. The fallen city was now officially a demon stronghold, a place for them to regroup and plan their next attack. Walking through the city, Kai and Mare saw demon soldiers just chilling, laughing with their buddies. They'd even get wasted in the middle of the day, acting just like humans. Using abandoned houses for cover, Kai and Mare carefully noted the city's current situation. Mare actually found it pretty boring. She was expecting some action, but these demons were just living their everyday lives. Kai believed that any intelligent species capable of conversation would live just like humans, but Neutrat wasn't as peaceful as it first seemed. They soon saw the former human residents. These people were now slaves, forced to help the demons with their daily tasks and new homes. And let me tell you, the demons weren't kind bosses. They'd grab a stick and beat the human slaves just because they felt like it. This time, Mare was surprised by the cruelty. It was to be expected, though. Everyone knew demons tended to enslave humans, so this kind of harshness wasn't really a shocker. Mare knew this simple fact, but seeing it firsthand was still jarring. The simple beating of a slave quickly turned into a fun game for the bored soldiers. Mare couldn't just stand there and watch this craziness unfold. Just as Kai reached out to calm her, a new presence suddenly popped up in the room. He couldn't ignore it. A cute little voice asked if they weren't demons. A young girl with crimson eyes, a fancy outfit, and 2 dark horns stared curiously at the intruders. Kai totally freaked out. His instincts kicked in because he hadn't sensed this new person at all. He instantly pulled out a throwing knife, ready to react. But the young girl assured him there was no need to worry. She hadn't come here to fight. Kai wasn't convinced. He pressed the girl, demanding to know who she was and how she found them. He was right there, and it should have been impossible for anyone to sneak past his detection, especially this close. Kai figured she had to be using some kind of demonic art. She then admitted she'd been watching them since they broke through her detection barrier. Mare, however, was positive they'd snuck in perfectly clean. She hadn't even felt a trace of mana nearby. But that's because the witch who mastered space magic could see absolutely everything. Kai finally put it together. He used appraisal to confirm his suspicions. Her name was Isabel Veldora, protected by an evil god, a master of space magic, a master of all kinds of demonic arts, and an absolute monster in terms of power. Then, Isabel formally introduced herself as the 5th princess of the Veldora demonic kingdom. Kai took a step back, clearly intimidated. She then made it clear, if they didn't answer her questions, she'd just order her army to capture them. After all, a human and an elf had snuck into her territory, and they didn't exactly look like spies. She wanted some clarity on their objective. Kai was certain that fighting here would be way too risky, so a peaceful negotiation was their best bet. So he started talking, and warned the princess that his story would be a long one. Isabel got comfy and told Kai to spill his story. She was bored anyway. Kai spent hours explaining his journey so far. Finally, Isabel understood why he was so set on returning home. He'd learned from a sage that it might be possible using demonic space magic, which is why he came here to check. Isabel just casually confirmed that yes, it was totally possible to send Kai back home. This was a huge deal. He finally had a real clue after so long. He felt lucky that the Witch of Space was even willing to talk, especially since she didn't act like a typical demon. She didn't hate humans at all. Isabel then explained that for it to work, Kai would need the exact coordinates of his homeworld. The solution was right there, but finding Earth's coordinates, that was a whole new headache. Without the precise coordinates among countless worlds, sending Kai back was impossible. A heavy silence fell over them. Kai and Isabel just looked at each other, understanding the situation. Kai asked if there was any way to find his homeworld's coordinates. Isabel said there were just too many parallel worlds out there, making it impossible to find the right one. Kai used his new Eye of Truth ability and saw she wasn't lying. Isabel also mentioned a limit because of his mortal body. He came here with God's protection, which couldn't be bypassed. Even Isabel's powerful demonic arts couldn't get past his divine protection. God's will was basically trapping him in this world. This meant he couldn't go home until the mission to kill the Demon King was fulfilled. Isabel wasn't so sure about that, though. She admitted she hadn't thought that far ahead. Kai didn't get an easy answer, but at least he now knew there was another option if things got tough. Still, the easiest way was clearly to kill the Demon King and finish the prophecy. Kai didn't say it out loud, but Isabel could tell what he decided just by looking at him. He was open to using demonic arts to go home, but it sounded incredibly tough. Suddenly, Mir interrupted, asking why the demon princess was being so cooperative. Isabel just tore a hole in space. She simply explained that even the demonic kingdom has factions, and she was just doing what was best for herself. Kai and Mayer immediately got ready for a fight, expecting her to make a move. Isabel just gave them a blank stare, wished them good luck, and stepped into her spatial rift. She also warned them that escaping her city wouldn't be easy. Just like that, the rift closed, and Isabel Veldora vanished to who knows where. Mir, who had been holding her breath, finally let it out. Kai was thinking about how powerful the Demon King's bloodline must be. If they had fought, they would have been slaughtered with no chance. It was a good thing she wasn't hostile. After such a lucky escape, Kai worried that bad luck would follow. Just as Mir warned him to stop jinxing them, the city alarms suddenly blared. The duo peered out the window. Demon soldiers were going wild, hunting down human spies who had infiltrated the city. It was clear they had been exposed, and that mischievous witch was likely involved. First, the witch wished them luck. Then, she immediately told her army about them. Her actions were totally bizarre, just like her. Kai simply had to accept that he couldn't understand someone so powerful. They bolted across the roofs of abandoned buildings, trying to escape the huge, fallen city. Kai was super fast, and Mir kept right up with him. Together, they somehow dodged thousands of demons. The demons were on high alert, spread throughout the inner city. A quick appraisal showed each soldier had high stats, strong enough to cause serious problems. They needed to escape fast, but Kai suddenly froze. Mayer had to slam on the brakes, almost tumbling off the roof. Kai pulled her down, telling them to hide. They looked towards the city square. Kai felt a mana signature, like the witches, and knew he had to check it out before moving again. This strange mana felt even stronger in some ways. Then they saw him. A white-haired demon with porcelain skin and 3 horns stood right in the middle of his troops. He had 2 horns by his temples and a huge green one in the center. Mir instantly knew this beast. It was Wimberg. Kai definitely wasn't expecting such a powerful wild card to show up here. Kai looked at Mir. She was practically foaming at the mouth, burning with vengeance. So, following Kai really had been the right call. Without taking her eyes off him, she confirmed. The beast commanding the army was Wimberg, the heavenly king of the winds and one of the Demon King's vassals. From their hiding spot on the roof, Kai shot an appraisal to check him out. Wimberg had balanced stats. He was a master of wind demonic arts and swordsmanship, plus his hawk's eye boosted his combat power to another level. Kai tapped Mir's shoulder, telling her to calm down. Fighting him head-on would be totally insane. Luckily, Mir managed to control her vengeful rage. Since their enemy was the heavenly king of the winds, and wind magic is awesome for finding things, they had to be super careful. Down on the city grounds, Wimberg's troops were asking skeptically if there really were intruders. They had put together a whole hunting brigade just because of Wimberg's hunch, so they just kept pushing forward. If they found any intruders, crushing them would be totally normal. Humanity's trump card, the hero candidates, had been seen at the front lines. Neutrat City was under pressure to get things stable. One troop asked Wimberg why he was staying behind instead of fighting at the front. Wimberg simply replied that holding down the fort suited him better. Wimberg preferred to let other units handle the messy fighting. But then, the wind he'd spread out across the city brought back whispers, confirming that intruders were inside. For Wimberg, if the wind said it, it was a sure thing. These spies were moving carefully, but they couldn't hide from Wimberg's wind search. He controlled the wind, giving him a complete map hack of the city. Wimberg ordered his troops to get the pursuit unit ready. It was time for a hunt. Wimberg knew the witch could have found these intruders earlier. She must have let them through, and he found that pretty interesting. Meanwhile, Mayor and Kai were still running for their lives, using old residential areas for cover. As they reached a street corner, Kai told Mayor to stop. A demon search party was close by, checking every corner for intruders. The demons likely knew someone was around, but couldn't pinpoint their exact spot. Mayor had also sensed the winds acting weirdly for a bit, making the spirits restless. It had to be that annoying wind search, trying hard to find them. She could mess with the wind using her spells, but that would totally give away their location. They hadn't been spotted yet, so they needed to move smartly to avoid getting swarmed by demons. Demon soldiers patrolled the streets, their heads snapping around. The duo stuck to lower ground to avoid the strange wind, but it was only a matter of time until the army found them. But then, Mayor's fading stamina caused them to be found. Kai decided to use the city's buildings to their advantage, but for this plan, Mayor had to be the decoy. Without waiting for her to agree, Kai vaulted onto the rooftops, leaving Mayor alone on the streets. Mayor complained below, but Kai fired her up with the promise of revenge. He made her realize crying wouldn't help them now. Seeing them split, the demons focused on the elf girl. She looked like an easy target, but they also sent some soldiers to find the hard-to-catch Kai. Mayor finally stopped running and spun around to cast a spell. She called upon fire spirits, gaining the power of a salamander, which made the demons stop cold. Before they could even get what was happening, they were totally cooked. Of course, such a flashy spell brought in even more enemies. Mayor's spot was revealed, and demon battalions closed in fast. Kai used this chaos to jump behind the distracted battalion. From there, he started dishing out destruction, one slash at a time. The first demon fell, but the others in the battalion still didn't notice a thing. With swift, precise cuts, Kai turned demons into mincemeat on the street. The battalion captain finally heard the thudding sounds behind him and spun around. What he saw was his entire group butchered, lying in pools of blood. That split second of terror was an easy opening for a skilled assassin. The captain called Kai a coward, but Kai just wiped out the rest of the battalion with another bloody splatter. Meanwhile, Mayor was still fighting in the streets. She unleashed Undine, a powerful water spell, to overwhelm her enemies. This water magic was super effective in the crowded area, slowing down the demon army's push. But even as the raging water pushed them back, the demons kept trying to break through. Mayor knew she was just delaying the inevitable. She had no choice, though, as these demons just kept coming. The situation felt hopeless until she spotted some strange splashes happening in the back. One after another, demons at the back started falling to a hidden blade. This made Mayor's job easier, as she pushed back the now shrinking demon force with her water spell. Just one quick slash to the throat, and it was over. Who could be doing this? When one demon finally realized what was happening to his comrades, it was already too late. A throwing blade was already buried deep in his skull. He felt like he had just met the Shinigami, the god of death himself. Kai easily cut his way through the trapped army, his body now covered in their blood. Retrieving his blades, he gave Mayor props for being a good decoy and making his job way easier. Mayor was pleased by the compliment, but it didn't erase the fact that she almost died. The duo might have hidden their movements well, but Wimberg was definitely getting impatient. His army wanted to call for backup, but Wimberg didn't think it was needed. He believed sending more demons would just mean more losses for them. So, Heavenly King Wimberg decided to handle the situation himself. Mayor and Kai were almost at the exit when a powerful gust of mana-infused wind hit them out of nowhere. After a quick scan, homing wind missiles shot straight for the duo. Mayor stayed calm and summoned Sylph, the spirit of wind, to step in. Her spell completely stopped the wind missiles in their tracks. Kai got ready for an even tougher fight. The real big boss just showed up. Wimberg floated above, scanning the city and controlling the wind however he wanted. He admitted these intruders weren't just simple rats this time. Mayor glared at the man who ruined her life, full of pure hatred. This was her moment to finally get her revenge. She had to take it, and she had to be confident. Luckily for them, she'd been preparing for this fight for a whole decade. As Wimberg hovered in the air, surveying the battleground, the duo pulled out their weapons, ready to fight. Kai was sure they couldn't beat a heavenly king in a long fight. Not mortals like them. They needed to win fast and go all out right from the start. Mayor agreed, her focus sharp as she summoned Sylph the Wind Spirit once more. This time, the spell became Deadly Wind Blades, a potent wind spirit magic that locked onto Wimberg. The Heavenly King just stared at the incoming attack, actually insulted by how weak it seemed. Facing an opponent who dared to use wind against him, the Wind Heavenly King himself, was rare. Wimberg thought they were either really brave or just plain dumb. With a quick thought, he just canceled out the wind blades, easily overpowering them with his own powerful gusts. The blades couldn't even touch the wind barrier he had up. They just scattered into thin air. Kai saw an opening, though. Wimberg had just blocked his own view. But turns out, taking advantage of that wasn't going to be so easy. As Kai tried to rush the supposedly blind Wimberg, he got slammed by sharp, solid wind missiles. That instantly brought Kai to a halt. From high above, Wimberg just laughed, calling Kai out for trying such a dumb move. See, Wimberg was a total pro. He constantly used wind surge, meaning he never lost track of anyone on the